Okay, we're live. Let's see what happens. This is James speaking. What have you seen here? Got another session from the training site.io site. It's the place where we talk about training sites and membership sites. And we do these every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. It's an open Q&A. So if you do have some questions, you can make sure that certainly go ahead and ask them. I'll be here to do my best to answer them. If you're watching after the fact, you can just put some comments in below and I'll do my best to address those. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure to visit trainingsite.io and join the community where we talk about all the things around teaching online, building and selling online courses, training sites, all of that good stuff that is going to be an absolutely huge business, bigger than you expect, especially over the next couple of years, of course, with all of this AI stuff. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story that's kind of important for people who might have been online for a while. And if I consume TikTok and YouTube Shorts just the same as everyone else. And it's an interesting kind of time for people who have been online for a period of time. And in fact, like 20, 25 years, some of us old people have been around for that long on the internet. And especially people who have been marketing or have experience in marketing or all of the things in around digital products, services, all of that stuff online. And here's the problem that I run into, and maybe you do too. And I'm just going to share this with you. Just think for a while, if you have, especially the way things are happening right now, if you have years of experience or 2 years of experience, you've got this frame of reference, right, as to what is important, what works, what doesn't work, because you're basing it off of your 2 years of experience and probably your 2 years of research. So you spend a whole bunch of time, learning from other people. You've been on websites, you've watched videos, you may have been, checked out some webinars, you read ebooks, you took some online courses, you talked to some friends, you tried some stuff, but you have 2 years for your frame of reference when it comes to marketing yourself. And the people who, if I look at some of the people that I follow or I subscribe to, they may have been online maybe 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And I see something that's kind of interesting for me, and it's a problem for me, and it might be for you if you've been around for a little bit, is that they have the ability to focus more so on what it is they know than it is for someone who's been around for a long time. And I'll give you an example. So if I go back and I take a look at all of the different courses, all of the different markets, all of the different products, all of the different blog posts that I wrote personally, all of the different video tutorials, video tutorials, I think I've got 14 or 1500 in the archive of videos that I've done over the last 20 years. I've got, one time I think I had 17 or 18 different ebooks that I had written and I was selling on a regular basis. Some of them were selling for $97. They were ebooks, basically in the golden age. And there's just a lot of different topics and a lot of different experience or that frame or that box that when you're older or you've been online for a while, it's like you've got a lot more information that you want to teach people. And personally, I find it really, really, really hard to stay focused because I know too much. And if you've been online for a long time, you are been in business for a long time, whether it be in a specific industry, but I'm talking about if you've been a marketer, for example, or a content creator. If you've been doing something for a long time, you've got a lot to share. And I'm finding it really, really difficult to be able to stay, I don't want to say niched, but I just want to stay focused on the information that I have that is the right information to share right now. And I'll tell you a story. This is a true story. I have a couple customers, one of them in particular that is we're doing some work in building out a community and a training site for them. And they have multiple websites. Technically, they have multiple businesses, and they're in specialty areas because they've done work with them for such a long period of time. They've, they've been around. in particular niches or serving particular customers, and they've got all these different websites. And what happens is when they go to sell something, they have too many things to sell. And I'll give you an example. On one of their landing pages for a service that they provide, in the sidebar, there are 8 additional products and services that they sell. These are all great products and services, and they're all in the same market, but they are other products in that particular niche. So they're selling a service. The sales page for the service is there, explains briefly what it is that they're obviously selling as a service, but there's an ebook here, there's a video here, there's all these additional products that people can buy, and they're all great products and they're all valid. The problem that we're addressing is he's trying to sell the service, but he's also got all of these other products that support the service, and it's hard not to just want to dump everything on people and give people everything that you've experienced or collected over the years. So that is really, really, really hard, and I struggle with it personally. And I think as you change that box that you're selling from or marketing from, and the longer you're online, it's going to be even harder for people to keep a handle on this. And this is really expensive, interesting for people who are in the teaching space or the training space. They're building out education businesses, because when we look at this right now, it took us a month to create a product. When we first started, it took 2 months to write a book, or 6 months to write a book and get graphics done, and have it put together and done the research and everything. Right now, with all of the AI content creation tools and services that are available, this ability to not stay focused is going to be hard now, not only for people who have been online for a long time, but the people who have been online for the past 6 months are going to have trouble keeping things focused. And they're going to be able to pull up information or become knowledgeable, not necessarily through personal experience, but by AI experience. They're going to have all of this information or knowledge that they're going to want to share. And I believe it's going to get a lot harder to actually sell the information as opposed to give away the information. And I think what's going to happen is there's going to be more information happening faster. People are going to try and keep up with it. And what's going to happen is people are going to be changing more to a service-based business as opposed to a course-based business. And this is the big thing that I want you to think about when you're looking at, or, if I go online today and I take a look and see how many people have offered for me today to go and, learn how to do course creation, or create your first course and sell your course. You're going to be independently wealthy in 12 minutes with your first course, and do a pre-launch of your course. And there's all of these different things around courses, being able to, think that that's the be all and end all. I think that this is going to be a huge problem for people who are working at or considering their education business about online courses. Your education business is not about online courses. It's about teaching people. It's about teaching people about what they don't know and what they don't know how to do, and getting them to do it. The course information or the transfer of information, that's not of value anymore, because it's been monopolized by AI tools that can get to the exact answer as quickly as possible. I just heard there's a number of marketing services, as an example, in the digital marketing space right now, and what they're actually doing is they have removed SEO from their offering and ad buying from their offering. So this is a pretty big digital marketing agency. They're not even going to offer search engine optimization for their clients, nor are they going to be offering Google AdWords buys. And here's the thing that's, getting to this whole thing of information being open and a lot more clear. Just think, for example, if I want to know how to do something, in the past I did a Google search for it. That's where the ads were. I had to do a Google search because the information was spread out along hundreds and thousands of different websites, and I had to manually scroll through that, right? I had to take the time to go see which of the headlines in the Google search results that made sense to me. I had to click, manually go to that website, try and figure it out, search what they did, see if the information there for me. But there was a whole long process to that research. That research has now been replaced by AI tools. This is going to do a couple things. If people are going to do, instead of doing, for example, trying to figure out a course necessarily or the information that's in a course, they're going to be able to use an AI tool to just search for that information. So if your online course is just content, you're in some deep trouble. And that deep trouble is happening really fast. The search engine, or the act of search, being active in search, is not as important as it used to be, because the results are condensed and codified and organized perfectly right within a response of a well-crafted prompt with an AI tool. And there's AI tools that are getting specific for certain things of research, as an example. You don't even have to use ChatGPT to do research. There's different tools. And again, I talked about this last week. I think there was 3,800 different AI tools at a website called There's an AI for That. When I checked the next day, there was 3,960. And when I checked, I think yesterday, there was 4,100 different AI tools. So there's all sorts of AI tools for specific tasks like researching a course. You don't have to learn how to use ChatGPT. You can actually go to an AI tool that is specifically for researching a course and course content. So the course content part is not going to be a value. It's the service that is going to be the important part of actually implementing the information. Or if you are still interested in education and an education business, here's my recommendation. You're still going to have courses, but you're not going to be able to sell them the way that you think you are. You're going to be able to sell the community and the live or blended learning that goes along with that digital-only researched content. So I've seen a number of people now that are actually giving away content. They give it away on YouTube. They give it away on their website. They give away free courses where it's course content. The one thing that's missing is the instructor. The instructor just isn't there. They haven't, that they're not available for asking questions. They're not available for clarifications. They're not available to see, how does this fit into my unique situation? They've removed themselves. However, what they are charging for is having themselves involved in the actual learning. So this is the exciting part. It's hard to stay focused because there is so much information and you have a lot to teach, but don't get hung up on creating the courses or trying to stay focused on the content that you're creating. Think about the outcome that you're promising the people from all the experience that you have. And that's where training sites and membership sites and these whole learning communities is something that's going to be interesting. So I just want to rant about that for today because I think it's happening faster. It's something that I'm dealing with personally because I've been online for a long time. It's something my clients who have a lot of experience are dealing with on a regular basis. It's just like, I have this information. Do I put it in a course or do I try and organize it into a course and sell a course? I'm telling them not to sell a course. What I'm telling them to do is build a training site that includes courses, that includes live online training, that includes community, that includes live Q&A, that includes resources, and it's gamified, it's engaging, it's user-generated content. It's the experiences of everyone in your community that are putting it together. That's where the real value is, and that's what you're going to be able to sell, is that community, the fans, and the outcomes that your community is experiencing or getting, not just necessarily you. So let me do something else here. I'm just going to pull up, we'll do my video pencil here for a second, and I'm just going to share this for a second. This is kind of interesting as well, and we'll do, see if I can get my thing working here. Let's just clear the drawing. Okay, so here's the other thing that's happening too with all the information that people are doing, and I'm talking about, and I don't like this necessarily I don't like this term, but it's an easy one to recommend. If we take a look and, we look at a traditional sales funnel. So we look at a traditional sales funnel, and, the idea at the end is we want to have a paying customer, right? We want to be in a position where someone is going to pay us for something. And in the early days, what was happening, and when you take a look at this whole idea of a sales funnel, is you have something at the top of it called a lead magnet. And the lead magnet in the past was often digital information. So it might have been an ebook, a checklist. It might have been, a video. It might have been access to a recorded webinar. But it was digital information which was being used as the lead magnet. And the lead magnet, of course, is something that we were giving as marketers or site owners or service owners are trying to sell something. We would give something for free in exchange for the person's email address. And us buying that lead, the reason we bought that lead is because we wanted to have an email address to be able to market to them in the future and market our products and services. And there was a whole process in here. But what happened is you ended up, the whole goal was that you had, a entry level product, then you had a little more expensive one, but you wanted to try and market through email and social medias and offers and all sorts of stuff to the people on your email list, or that you had your email list, and you tried to get them through to get to be a customer where they're either paying, that they pay the large sum at the bottom of the funnel, or and actually, let me do this. Is probably a little better idea. I'm going to erase this for a second because it's not a great example. I'm going to do it so I can write a little bit differently here. So let's do the funnel again. I'm just going to do this lead magnet up at the top. And I'm just going to do, we'll talk about it this way. So you were going to collect an email address, and that was that was often a digital information. Let's do the pencil here. So I've got some and that digital info was in exchange for the person's email address. So we would send them a message after an email. We would send a message after and a message after. And the whole idea, of course, is at the end of the day, what we wanted to do is, we've got however many messages in an automated sequence, and we wanted to get it to a point where we could get at least an entry-level sale. And over time, we wanted to, move them up the dollar value through our process from our entry-level product purchases to intermediate to large product purchases. So that was the way it worked traditionally. But the lead magnet that whole idea of the lead magnet was having a digital information product as the giveaway. So what's going to happen now, and this will be interesting to see what happened, and let me know if you run into this, is if you've got a situation where you're giving away digital information products as the lead magnet, what is actually going to be the people's response to those lead magnets right now? So if I know, as an example, that, I'm sitting there and I know, for example, that I can use an AI tool, and I can ask a couple prompts from the free tool, and I'm going to get the same digital information that you were giving away. So the same digital information, in most parts, it's probably generated by the same tool. So I'm going to give a lead magnet. I'm going to say, great. I'm going to, what I'll do is I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll ask it for the top 10 list of tips for doing this. ChatGPT goes and it creates the top 10 list. I put it into an ebook or an infographic, and I use that as my lead magnet. The same lead magnet that I created is one of the ones that the user can just go to ChatGPT and actually create the same product that I'm using as a lead magnet. So there's going to be a problem at the whole top of the funnel where that kind of lead magnet is no longer going to work well. And it's going to be really hard to use content as a lead magnet. Something, and remember, when I'm talking about a lead magnet is when you are buying the email address. So a lead magnet isn't you selling. Just going to make sure we get the pencil here. A lead magnet is you purchasing. So I buy the email address. So if I'm buying the email address, how much do I have to pay? If I'm buying the email address, how much do I have to pay? In the past, it was digital information. That, I think, is going to be a huge problem now. And what's going to happen is if you're really working hard on the lead magnet start at the start of your courses, your training site, what's going to happen is you're going to have to actually use the lead magnet to work is going to have to be a service, an introductory service, or an actual product, an entry-level product. So this is that thing about being focused again, is understanding that when you have a lot of information, in the past you were always trying to worry about organizing it, selling it, putting it into courses. You're not going to need that as much as you are going to be able to need to have a service or a finished product as something that you can use as the lead magnet. And the other thing, I'm just, again, I'm just ranting here. The other thing that I'm seeing that comes back is there's going to be a renewal. Think about this for a second. There's going to be a big renewal with newsletters. Now, why newsletters? You have to remember when we first started, the only thing that we did give away was a newsletter. Everyone had a newsletter. And a newsletter was something that came out on a monthly basis when we first started. And then it got to be, weekly. And then some people, just went, wait a second, I'm sending email on, I can start sending some offers and some other stories and other resources to people. And the newsletter kind of disappeared because there was so much other stuff available to go and tell people that it wasn't about a weekly news or update as to what's happening. But I'm seeing right now that there's a lot more people who are starting to publish newsletters, and those newsletters are often video newsletters, but they're written or they're podcast style, where you've got an interview with someone that puts whatever it is you're selling or putting together, or your service, it puts it in context. But it's a weekly newsletter. And the other thing that's interesting with this is when we take a look at the weekly newsletter, is the thing that makes a newsletter different. It's you. If you put in your personal story, your personal brand, your company or small business, the story about you as to what's happening with you, you're going to see that in newsletters, because people are actually more interested in the story of you and how you're applying the information and the results that you're getting by applying the information, and trying to figure out if you and them are on the same track, and if you have the kind of results that the person that you're talking to is looking for. So that newsletter is just an opportunity for you not to sell something, not necessarily to offer something, not to teach someone something, but it's to share what's happening with you and your business and the people that you help, so that people can identify with it. So you got this case now where you're marketing and you're going, I got the you part, which is going to be really, 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 I think, more obvious in the next little while. You've got the newsletter part, and then the other thing is that we've got these changes in lead magnets is going to have to be an actual service or a product, and a valuable product, a complete product. So here's an example of one that we just worked with, one that you'll find, I think that you'll see a lot more moving forward. And again, this is my 2 cents. It's what I've seen. It's what I've cycling back, seeing something happen in the past again. So I think it's going to happen again. So we got the situation where we got the lead magnet, service, or product. So you're going to see for services, you're going to see free critiques. So you're going to see like people doing a free website analysis, or a free resume analysis, or a free marketing analysis, where the service that you're providing is you're going to talk to someone, actually talk to someone, or they're going to make a request and they're going to have to give you some information, but you are going to physically have to take time to go and do a little bit of research and take a look at the other person's business if you're offering that kind of service. Or if it's a resume, for example, you're going to have to look at their resume and go, man, this makes sense, or no, this doesn't make sense. So we're going to actually go and provide that service. It might mean using AI to, if you have a series of prompts that you use on a regular basis for ChatGPT, you may go and use that and generate a report for people. If you're in the marketing agency, it's like one of the ones that we do on a regular basis is someone's they got a training site. They don't know, first of all, who they're serving, and they don't know what they're offering or the courses that they want to provide and the lessons and what they want to teach. They often don't know, as an example, what should I be selling to whom? Like, how does this work? Just to give you an example, you can go to ChatGPT. I think I have the prompt here. Let me see if I wrote the prompt down. I'm just going to go on another screen here, see if I can find the prompt that I put in. Yeah. We can actually take a look at this later. I might go and do this. We'll do a ChatGPT on it. So if you are marketing your business, one of the things you have to have is a social profile for people, right? You need to know specifically who your customer or client is. And if I ask the majority, not the majority, I don't have the exact stats, but if you ask a large number of people to give you a written profile of their ideal customer, I can tell you that very few of them will actually have one. And if they do have one, it's probably not even close to being current. And if you can offer creating or documenting a social profile for people, or an avatar for their ideal customer, that's a service that you can provide, and it's something you can use as a lead magnet. So here's an example of a prompt for one for a social profile. And again, this isn't one that I made up. This is a service that or a product someone was offering me as a lead magnet in order to get my email address. And they had a bunch of prompts that were specific prompts to get a specific outcome. You could buy it, or in exchange for my email address, you could have it as a free download, or like a half a version, for example. So here's an example of a prompt that you can use on ChatGPT for a social profile. And here it goes. So you are a marketing researcher, and your task is to generate a detailed user persona for a bicycle store in the USA. This is just an example. So it can be any kind of store, or any kind of product, or any kind of coach, or any kind of business that you're in. But you're basically going to tell it you want a persona for this business in this area or this context. So you're giving the task to people, or telling ChatGPT what you're going to ask it to do. And then you have to add some context to it, right? So you're going to say, they sell mid-range and high-end mountain bikes and parts to hobbyists. So if you are selling racing bikes to competitors, that's a different context, right? You still be bike stores, but one is hobbyist bikes, mountain bikes. The other one's racing bikes, competitive bicyclists. So you have to add some context to it, which is there. So you're giving it the task. You've got some giving it some context as who it is that you want them to research. And then you're telling them what you want them to actually output, which is, please include a user description plus 3 additional tables. One for demographics, one for psychographics, and one for shopping behaviors. So just think about this. If I'm offering a service in exchange for an email address or the top of my funnel or that lead magnet, and I say, here's a checklist of this, or here's an ebook that tells you the top 10 things of this. Again, that's information. It may have worked in the past. I think you're going to have to offer a service like this as an example that says, give me your name and email address, and I will generate a social profile for your business. How about that? For me, giving the offer, I'm spending 5 minutes using this prompt and having it spit it out and send it to the person. I'm purchasing their email address for the right to market to them in the future. Now, there's obviously some big assumptions here. Are you going to do this if you sell a 33-cent product? No, of course not. But if your business is about selling services and or information products and communities, I'm assuming that you've got some higher value products and you're looking for a lead magnet or someone that you want to get into the top of the funnel that we just looked at to get them started in that process. But I'm using a service as the lead magnet because the information on itself, I don't think has the same value that it did. It's happening so quickly now and so many people are providing it. It's going to be a move to service-based lead magnets. So this is just an example of one. Think about for your business, what could you do, or what is an analysis or a quiz or something that requires input or thought from the other person or something that they don't have that they do need to be successful. How can you do some of that work for them? How can you provide some of your work for them? And this is a classic example, is just using AI tools to organize information that isn't generic, but it's specific to them. So you're going to have to ask them, just say, hey, what's your business? Who do you sell to? What are you selling? Is it parts? Is it bicycles? But then I'm generating a complete social profile for people that has the demographics, how many people, where are they, psychographics, what are the psychology motivators for that kind of person, and shopping behaviors. You know, where do they buy it? Is it a one-on-one thing? Are they buying it retail? Are they ordering? Is it Amazon? So you've got a complete picture now, and you know more about their business. You've earned the right or purchased the right to market them in the future, but this is a great foundation and the entry level probably of what you would have done anyway. So take a look at the beginning of your sales funnel or the process that you're involved in and think about, what entry-level service can I give, and use it as a lead magnet as opposed to trying to give away information as a lead magnet. Think that through again. What is a service that you can use as a lead magnet that is inexpensive with your time, that can be somewhat automated, that still has value to the customer? This is going to be a huge benefit, and I think we're going to see a real shift to that moving forward. And why am I bringing this up again? Well, it's because it's hard to stay focused. And one of the things that, if I take a look at my personal business, is because I've had written books on getting ranked first at Google, or podcasting 15 years ago before it was called podcasting. I had written books. What are some of the other ones I did? Screen Capture Secrets, when Camtasia first came out 15 or 16 years ago. So I have a bunch of these books. They're all related in terms of marketing, but I want to share all of that stuff as it applies to membership sites, training sites, and or creating online courses. And it's really hard for me personally is to remember that my business isn't about the information that I have. My business, and think about this for yourself, my business is about the outcome that I want to provide for people. And in my case, I want people to have a training site and a learning campus where they can grow a community of people who share the same interests, and that they can teach people online what it is that they know. So I'm about building those sites. So I have to stay focused on helping people start, build, and grow their education businesses, which may mean creating online courses if they haven't already, but it's all about the training sites. It's all about the training sites for me. I could talk about and spend my time marketing stuff about screen captures and only creating courses, but at the end of the day, it's that offer to people about, hey, you want to share your expertise, you're going to need a training site. And that's again, these things just come to the top of my head when I start talking about them, and I hope it's not too disjointed. The things that connect together for me over the time doing these live sessions are based on observations and stuff that have happened in the past. And I want to share one other thing, kind of that, just to make sure that this is kind of in perspective. And if you haven't already, I don't know who's online here. I don't know if anyone came online. If you do, you can certainly put a chat there in the chat, or put a comment below if you're watching this after the fact, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. So let me erase this for a second. I'm actually going to go back. We'll go back to my crazy headshot, and we'll go back to there. So stay focused on the outcome that you're providing to people, helping people start, build, and grow their education business. And think about the lead magnet that you're using to get people into the start of the funnel that you're building out. And take a look at the lead magnets in terms of a service. So if you've got a service, what is the start or part of the information that you would have needed to collect anyway? If I'm going to be building out a training site for people, one of the first questions we have is, who's the site for? Who are you trying to train, or who are you trying to teach? And if they don't know that, they're going to have to do this part anyway. If you are selling a resume service, as an example, the first thing that you're going to ask is, do you have an existing resume? Can I take a look at it so we can do a resume critique? If you are offering, the thing is about LinkedIn, you want to know, for example, what is your LinkedIn profile so I can do an entry-level critique on it. The one that some people use is, it's like a free discovery call, and we've used that in the past. A free discovery call, I think, is going to be of less value moving forward, because it's not it's out of context with what specifically people are looking for, and it's kind of ad hoc, right? It's like, maybe find out, maybe not find out. There's not a specific outcome for that discovery call. Discovery for what? What is it you're going to discover? Why don't you just offer them what it is that you need at the start of your process? So, can you offer a course critique? Yeah, absolutely. Can you offer a membership site critique if you're building a membership site? Yeah, absolutely. Take a look at the pieces of what it is you're fixing for your clients or your prospective client. What's at the start of the funnel? What service can you provide to use as a lead magnet to get them in? And one other thing I'm just going to touch on here is, I have talked about in the past about, and I actually have a little course on it in the trainingsite.io campus. In that training site, I did a course up on how to use a free course as a lead magnet. And I'm going to add a caveat to that. When I talk about courses, and when I talk about courses, when I'm referring to a course has things that information does not. And what am I referring to? The first thing is if it is a course, and I'll say a mini course or even a micro course in some instances, it will have more than one lesson. So it's not just a video dump. It's broken into 3 to 7 minute, 3 to 5 minute segments that have, first of all, they can and should have materials associated with the lesson if possible. They should have action items or calls to action for that particular lesson. And they should, if they can, have some kind of quiz or checklist to say, in fact, yes, I've consumed it and I've understood it, before that they can go on to the next section. So a course just isn't information organized and put into, a learning management software like LearnDash or any of the other ones that are available for WordPress, or even Teachable, or any of the services that are available there. It's not about that organized information. It's adding things like materials, quizzes, and especially gamifying it. And gamifying it is all about getting people rewarded for their actions and completing the actions. People are very competitive by nature, even if they say they aren't. There's a psychology behind gamifying course and course materials. And when I talk about giving away a free course, if you can give away a free course that does have quizzes, that does have downloaded materials, that does have some kind of gamification in your campus or training site, that's a huge value. And that is something more than giving away an ebook or giving away what you're calling a course, which is just organized information. So, can you still give away a course? Yes, but make sure it's a course. Are you better off giving away a service? I'm betting over the next while, with the rise in how quickly information can be put together now with AI tools, as opposed to manually having to research it with search tools. I think that whole kind of space is going to be getting a lot more gray, and it's going to be happening so quickly, which is the exciting part. Things that are happening weekly now are things that took months and months to pan out before. So this stuff is going really, really fast, and it's going to be an exciting time. Actually, last night, just true story, I had trouble sleeping last night because I was thinking of a whole bunch of different things that we could use in the lead magnet and actually have them tied to social media, and how to structure those so that they went together. So for example, if you do decide you're giving away service and it is part of your lead magnet, it's like, how do you structure your social media posts now to market the introductory service lead magnet that you're using? What are the different types of social media prompts and or tools that are going to use to get people involved? How are you going to get them to the call to action? Is a call to action about downloading something, or is it about getting a particular service? How is that going to happen? Which of the particular social media platforms are the right ones to actually work on? And now that I'm talking about that, I'm going to share one other thing that, just to keep in the back of your mind, is that if you are using a lead magnet and you are using social media to get people to the lead magnet, please, please, please remember that the lead magnet and your email list is as important or more important than the social media posts that you make. Let me say that again. If I make a social media post today, where is that post 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now? Who the heck knows? For social media, we have to continually jam content into the social media platforms for them to be relevant. Now, there's a couple of exceptions to that one, but it's a lot easier to look at it this way. If I spend, and I'm going to use YouTube as social media, if I use long form video on YouTube and I treat that as social media, as posting a video to YouTube, the thing that's great is that YouTube is an archive or a search engine for all of the content that I have created on YouTube. If I have a TikTok video or a Facebook post or something that I've done on some of the other programs, trying to find that from 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, very, very difficult on those other social media platforms. So as a lead magnet, don't just go, I posted, it's great, people know about me. It's, I posted, it's great, and I got people to give me their email address by offering them a free service or offering something of value that answers a question for people. And that's what I was thinking, the whole thing with social media, there's a lot of, some people are going all in on social media, which is great, absolutely perfect. I'm all on that. Just understand that if you are going all in on social media as it comes to building your training education business, it's about two things. One is either getting them to give you their email address in exchange for something, or two, joining your community so that you now have them in your community and you also have their email address or a way to communicate with them on a regular basis. So email list, still important. Newsletters, services as lead magnets and thinking about what is a course or what is organized information. Um, I've been ranting here, been going long, 44 minutes, holy mackerel. Uh, Again, if you haven't already subscribed here, make sure to go to trainingsite.io and you can join our community there. It is for free. We do have some services available. So if you go to that site, you'll actually see some services will pop up for you that you can take advantage of. And there is a place to join the newsletter, which we take care of on a regular basis. And we do have these live webcasts every Wednesday at 1 o'clock where I just get on and answer questions if there are any, and basically go on stuff that I've learned during the week. So if you do have any more questions, just put them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. And this is such a great time for people who have a bunch of knowledge, or people who want to teach about something they're passionate about, because those two things are coming together now. We got all this experience from people who really lived it. We've got all this experience from people who are using AI tools, and they're both valid. It's not one or the other. It's not one or the other. In the past, you always could, well, give me some referrals, or how much experience do you have? In many cases, it's still, obviously, it still matters, and because you've lived some of the ones, but in terms of the content that you put, AI tools have access to all of the same content that I have in my head. Think about that for a minute. It's just about how you put it in context and you add your personality to it. So you don't need to have all of the experience in the world. You have to have access to all the experience in the world, but you have to understand how to put things in context and have some personality and be yourself a little bit as you add context with your experience or your personality to the outcome that you're providing. Okay, I'm going to bring this in for landing. Hope you enjoyed it. My name is James, and the business that I have is all about starting, building, and growing training and membership sites, teaching people how to teach online. So if you're interested in that, make sure to visit us, click the links below, and I'll do my best to help you turn what it is that you know into a real education business. So take care, expect the best.